chief has one back there. There's one where people are just macking on it, saying, you know, you gotta get back.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the July 5th City Council meeting for the City of Cannon Falls to order. Could we have roll call, please?
Bringold,
Here.
Duncan,
Here.
Gesme,
Here.
Cronenberger,
Here.
Lundell,
Here.
Montgomery,
Here.
Eltoff.
Here. Would you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
She just has to stay on the.
Doesn't look like she's anywhere fun.
She wasn't.
Okay, agenda. Any additions or corrections to the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Lundell and a second by Bringold to accept the agenda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I think it's got to be roll call. Does it have to be roll call, Sarah?
With remote. Okay.
All motions got to be roll call with Laura on Zoom.
Okay.
Oh, where's it? Oh, I didn't
Voice
even
from
know.
above.
Voice from afar.
Okay, roll call.
Bringold,
Aye.
Duncan,
Aye.
Gesme,
Aye.
Cronenberger,
Aye.
Lundell,
Aye.
Montgomery.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we'll get into public input. Public input is intended to afford the public an opportunity to address concerns of City Council. The public input will be no longer than 30 minutes in total length, and each speaker will have no more than 3 minutes to speak. Speakers may address topics relevant to the governance of the city. Speakers must sign up in advance and must provide their name, address, and topic they intend to address. Comments must be on topic, respectful, pertinent to the city business, and adhere to the applicable data privacy rules. Any speaker that violates these rules will be asked to sit down, and if the speaker refuses to comply, they will be removed from the meeting. Speakers shall not address topics that are the subject of a public hearing, as all such comments will be made at the public hearing. The City Council will not generally act on issues raised by the public input, but may choose to schedule consideration of the item on a future agenda. Okay. Laurel Stinson.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laurel Stinson. I'm here to introduce myself to you today as a candidate running for Minnesota House District 20A, which, as I'm sure you're aware, includes the city of Cannon Falls. I'm also a member of the City Council in Red Wing, and I'm going to other city council meetings, school board meetings, township board meetings to learn about the issues that are facing other towns in the district and what support they might need to face those challenges from the state and from their state representative, so that I can be informed about those issues during the campaign season and hopefully beyond. So you might have seen me at your last meeting 2 weeks ago. I was here for your discussion about wood waste. And after listening to that discussion, I did a little bit more digging into that issue because I found it to be interesting and potentially important in the upcoming years. So I did speak to the Waste Campus personnel in Red Wing, where I have connections, and asked about the issue there. And I learned that Red Wing is also potentially facing wood waste issues in the future. We're not in quite the same situation as you are right now, but it is definitely something that is an upcoming issue that they're going to be facing. And a recent grant from the MPCA is going to allow them to do a composting study that will hopefully be able to do something for the region for that issue. And I also spoke to someone I know at the DNR about this issue, and he said that this is an issue that most communities in this district are facing now, especially because of the emerald ash borer. Is killing more trees and spreading further. There is more and more wood waste for municipalities to deal with. And most local communities are not prepared for the influx of that wood waste. And it is not an easy thing to change gears and to face that problem. Burning is not as easy a solution as a lot of communities think it will be because of the permits and the labor required to do that burning, and then the ash disposal permits that come after the burning is done. Those are things that the DNR can help communities with, but they can't really help at this point with funding for those things. And so he said to me that he believes that this is an issue that the state needs to do more to help communities with. And so I wanted to let you know that that's something that I am actively looking into, and it is an issue that I am keeping at the top of my list as one that is a problem that needs solving. So I will be here for the rest of the meeting to learn about more things, and I'll stick around for a few minutes afterwards if anybody wants to chat about that or anything else. And it's nice to meet all of you. Thank you for giving me this time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. That was the only one on public input, so we'll close the public input portion of the meeting. And we'll get into public hearings. Public hearing, item A is the Bluff Drive Ware Course Paving Public Hearing. We got two resolutions, one adopting the assessment and one receiving bids and awarding the contract. I'm going to turn it over to Bill, and he'll kind of give us a rundown on that.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a presentation here. We'll see if we get that up. All right, perfect. So as the mayor mentioned, how this will work tonight is I will give an overview. There are certain things from statutory perspective that we have to review. So we'll review that here through this presentation. And then when I'm done, I will sit down, and then members of the public, this is the assessment hearing where someone can contest their assessment. So then they would have the opportunity to come forward to the microphone and present their evidence, or they can also ask questions or make comments as well. But more importantly, they can present their evidence of why they believe their assessment has exceeded the value of their property. So how much after the project is done, their property will increase in value. Now I'll go over that in a little more detail. And then, Mayor, as you mentioned, I'll sit down and you'll have two resolutions to consider. One would be to adopt the assessments with the terms that we'll talk about here that are in your packet. And secondly, then, to receive and award the contract for the actual construction to Rochester Sand and Gravel, who is our low bidder, and that we did review those bids here about a month ago or so when we set this hearing for tonight. So with that introduction, we'll get going here. So the items we have to cover by statute, so project area, we have to talk about the improvements, the costs, we'll give an update on the schedule, and then again, tonight is the portion of the assessment process where someone can appeal, so we'll go over that, and then as I mentioned, the public comments. So just to recap, the project area, so Bluff Drive is shown on the map there, outlined in the blue. It's 15 parcels are part of this assessment area. Okay, so what are we proposing to do? Just a reminder, this is, the subdivision was never completed when this was built, so the final lift of asphalt has not been installed. So along with that, then, we will replace any settled curb areas. We will adjust the sanitary sewer manhole castings, and then we will place a sidewalk on the north side of the street. So that is what is included in this assessment project. Okay, the costs, so per city policy, 100% of total project costs. So the total project costs come to $108,555. So just for clarification, the bid was $103,555, and then the city is allowed to charge administrative fees. We are charged by the county, and we do incur expenses. So there is the city's administrative costs in there as well. So when you take that, divided by the 15 lots, then the assessment per lot is $7,237. If you recall, the preliminary amount, again, that was a projection, was $7,000, and we talked here a month ago or so that with the escalation of prices, like Neil and I and staff, we, even though we're $200 more, and I never want to discount that, but we are pretty happy with the prices we did receive because of a lot of the prices have really been higher on the projects that have been bid. A couple things then per your ordinance is you do allow senior citizen, permanently disabled, and active military deferrals. So if someone fits into one of those three categories, they should contact City Hall and they can have their assessment deferred. Okay. The actual terms then of the assessments. So after tonight, you have 30 days. A person who's assessed, they can prepay without interest. So that would be through August 5th. Then they can prepay with interest, basically through the end of, the calendar year, when we have to get this certified to the auditor. That would be November 15th. After that, then it would appear on your taxes. City ordinance says that it would be, your city code says it would be 10 years at 5%. How we came up with that 5% is, again, your code says that it's the bond buyer's index rating at the date that we set this plus 2%. So that bond buyer's index, the date of when we set this was 3%. So again, per your code, you had 2% to that, so 5%. So 5% over 10 years would be the terms. Okay, schedule. So tonight is the hearing. Again, after you hear testimony tonight, you will be having those two resolutions to award the contract. We don't have a firm start date from the contractor, but tentatively August is what we're talking about with Rochester Sand and Gravel. Again, if you award that, and then anticipating a fall of this year completion date. Okay, and some of those details will be filled in as we go. All right, so the main item tonight is this is the opportunity for people to file objections. So again, the appeal process, you are required, or we're required to spell this out, so make sure everybody understands that. So again, per Minnesota Statute 429, so tonight somebody could submit a written objection. Mayor, we talked a little bit before the meeting, and my understanding is no one has submitted a written objection. People can also come up and do an oral objection. Again, that's where they present their testimony to the council. The second item there is, so if you have an objection tonight, a person could appeal your decision. So they have 30 days to do that, and they would have to appeal that to district court. They would have to serve notice upon the mayor or the clerk. Okay, so again, we're just following that quite prescriptive process. And then if that would happen, the third bullet there, the clerk would furnish the appellant a certified copy of the objections, file the assessment proceedings, and the other items that go along with that. Okay, so that is the process. Okay, so if someone did appeal that again to the court would either affirm the assessment or set it aside and order a reassessment. Okay, it's not an item where they would throw it out. So what they would do is they would ask you to reevaluate that. But once tonight passes, if say 1 or 2 or 0 people, the rest of the assessments for everybody else would be set. Those are not able to be modified. So if you pass those 2 resolutions tonight, the assessments for anybody who's not appealing would be set at that $7,200 number. Okay, this is an important item. I'd just like to remind everybody. So if someone does appeal beyond the city council and they do not prevail upon the appeal, the costs incurred shall be taxed by the court. So the costs of that appeal would then go against that property owner if they do not win that appeal. And then last item there is all objections to the assessment are waived unless presented on such appeal. Okay, so basically tonight's the opportunity. So if someone does not appeal tonight and present their testimony to you, then this is their final chance. And then all those instructions were mailed to them. I guess those items are in your packet. They're included in those resolutions. So all these instructions. Okay, Mayor, so that is the end of the presentation. So what I will do is I'm going to grab my laptop here. I'm going to sit down, and then this is the time for people to come forward, and then we'll take on those 2 resolutions.
Okay.
And then, Mayor, and if there's any questions for me, typically they would be after the public. If there's any questions from the council, it would be after the public has a chance.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll open the public hearing on Bluff Drive course paving. If you've got, an appeal or you want to say something, now's the time to come forward. Second call.
Mayor, I haven't got any written statement. I'm just thinking this whole thing is about a year ahead of the cart's ahead of the horse here. You got builders building on both sides of the road up there, trying to get work done up there. And now you're thinking you're gonna put the final lift of blacktop on there and see what that's gonna look like in about 6 months. After they pave that in in August, and it gets hot out and everybody's up there with all their trucks. I don't know if somebody has petitioned to have this done or why there's this speed on trying to get this finally done. It's only been up there for 20 years. And now when there's finally activity up there, you gotta go and put this down our throat. So we gotta try to work and still maintain that street to make it look good at the end. So I'm just saying, don't expect that street to look brand new when they're done. Thanks.
Anyone else? Third and final call. Hearing no further comments, we'll close the public hearing. And do you have any questions for Bill, Council?
Well, I don't know how much of a question it is, but to Doug's point that he just made, is there some kind of rush happening here? Or I guess why now? Is there something to what he just said?
I can't, oh, sorry.
I mean, really, what is, maybe this is a question for us. Is there some kind of rush being put on this because of something? Or things have to be done in this order? Because just kind of generally from my own logic, it doesn't seem right to finish everything before things are finished. Now, it could take another 20 years to get all the houses built too. But yes, maybe what is the reasoning behind all this about
What
Ben timing?
percentage of lots finished do we wait for?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't,
So,
that I don't know.
When we discussed this last time, I don't think that was ever an issue that, as far as, when we talked about last time about putting in, wondering if we should put the sidewalks in or anything like that. It seemed
That was
like,
the only
that was the only-
objection, was whether to put the sidewalk in or not.
And I recall
At first, they
that
didn't want
too.
to, and then they said, okay, yeah, we'll do it as
Right.
part of the project, and
But the timeframe wasn't seemed to be discussed at all. So at that time, it didn't seem like anybody was,
Very interested, and now, I don't know, Steve.
Well, I
bear in
guess-
mind, if you wait another year or two, your costs are gonna go up significantly.
True. Okay.
Bill?
Mayor, it is standard practice. Now, this is not a standard practice subdivision, but it is standard practice. Once you put the base course of pavement on, you then put it the next year. Now, obviously, as the speaker said, we're 20 years later, but almost all subdivisions, you don't wait for the houses to be built. And we have not seen, you will have some issues on the pavement, but very rarely do we see issues. And if someone does, something where, heavy equipment or they do something or damage, something we would ask them to fix it. But this would be your standard practice to pave it right away.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, we've got two resolutions. First one is Resolution 2627, which is adopting the assessments.
2637, Mayor. 26.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2637, adopting the assessments. Anybody want to make a motion to that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2637.
Second.
Motion by Duncan and a second by Gesme to approve Resolutions 2637, adopting the assessments. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Oh,
We gotta go roll call.
Oh, roll call, that's right, because Laura's out there. Sarah?
Bringold,
Aye.
Duncan,
Aye.
Gesme,
Aye.
Cronenberger,
Aye.
Lundell,
Aye.
Montgomery.
Aye.
Passed.
Okay, the resolution passes 6-0. Okay, second resolution is 2638, is receiving the bids and awarding the contract to Rochester Sand and Gravel for the Bluff Drive paving improvements.
I make a motion to pass 2638 on the award for Rochester Sand and Gravel.
I'll second it.
Motion by Gesme, a second by Bringold to approve Resolution 2638, awarding the contract to Rochester Sand and Gravel for the paving improvements. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry, roll call again. Sarah?
Bringold,
aye.
Duncan,
Aye.
Gesme,
Aye.
Cronenberger,
Aye.
Lundell,
Aye.
Montgomery.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
By the end of the meeting, you'll get it.
Okay, we'll move on.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep. Okay, consent agenda. Consent agenda items may be adopted under one motion as presented or may be removed for discussion and resolution as council business. For you at home and in the audience, I'll go through the consent agenda. Item A, just and correct claims for the accounting period ending June 28th, 2022. Item B, minute meetings for the June 21st, 2022 City Council meeting. Item C, second reading and adoption of ordinance 384, amending the city code, chapter 111, referring to brewer licenses, whatever. Item D, approve the disposal of vehicles. And item E, introduction and first reading of ordinance 385, amending the city code, chapter 151, relating to public utilities. Is there anything the council would like to pull down? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bringold, second by Lundell, to approve the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All in favor? Oh, go, sorry.
You'll get it by the end of the
We'll
meeting.
get it, I'll get it by the end of the night.
Bringold,
Aye.
Duncan,
Aye.
Gesme,
Aye.
Cronenberger,
Aye.
Lundell,
Aye.
Montgomery.
Aye.
Okay, the consent agenda is approved 6-0. Okay, on to council business. Item A, the 2023 street and utility project. Bill, you want to take that?
Yep, thank you, Mayor, and I'll let Dan and Neil can chime in as well. So I did meet with city staff as we're preparing for the 2023 project. The main focus of the 2023 project is the sewer bridge. That's our term. I'm not sure that's a technical term, and that is just east of the 3rd Street Bridge. The sewer actually, I don't know if you guys have been out there, the sewer actually crosses above the water on literally its own little bridge. that has been a concern of the city for some time. So staff, or in staff discussions, we feel now is the time to address that. So the solution to that is a little unclear, meaning do we pump across by building a lift station on the north side to transport the sewage to the south side, or do we install a siphon under the river? It's not as straightforward as the water main that we just recently did, where we directional drilled underneath it, because we have to maintain a certain amount of grade to basically get it to flow by gravity. So a part of this then, there's engineering work to be done to figure that out. So we'll be doing some survey work, some different evaluations, some different costs. As well with that then, there's also in that same area, there's some stormwater ponds on the north side of the river, and there's some drainage. Basically there's a fairly large area that drains into this area. So what we are also proposing to combine into this project is we need to really look at all the sewer and storm sewer that flows to the same point on the river. So that's what this proposal encompasses. So specifically, that's portions of Cannon Street, Ohio Street, 3rd Street, and 4th Street. So as we've talked with Neil and Dan, we have kind of a target dollar amount we're going to target, and then we're going to kind of fit the scope, to that budget amount. But really, we have to get through this preliminary part. Again, some of that background, and then also this will be an assessment project because we'll be reconstructing roads as well. So what we did tonight, we'll be starting anew with a preliminary assessment hearing like we did over the winter. We'll be doing that again this coming fall. So this is the first step in that process. So what we're asking for tonight is to approve the professional service agreement with WHKS to begin this process.
Any questions? Do I have a motion to accept the street and utility project with WHKS?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Lundell and a second by Bringold. Any other discussion?
Oh, this isn't the project, this is just the service agreement.
Service agreement.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, service agreement. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Bringold.
Aye.
Duncan.
Aye.
Gesme.
Aye.
Cronenberger.
Aye.
Lundell.
Aye.
Montgomery.
Aye.
Okay, service agreement passes 6-0. Okay, second, the Sandstone Ridge Letter of Intent. Laura.
Good evening. We had a developer come forward maybe about a month and a half ago, I suppose. We did have some local developers that came forward to us a few months ago, local developers that were interested in potentially developing the Sandstone Circle area and the area kind of in that northwestern area of Decorah and Sandstone Road. And just due to the infrastructure costs of the road and whatnot, they chose to kind of back out of that project. So about 6 weeks ago or so, we had someone come forward and were interested in pursuing the potential possibility of doing a multifamily apartment complex up in that area. And then we didn't really hear from them until we received a letter of intent. And that was on June 27th that we received a letter of intent from this person, from this company. And it's Stencil Group out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They've done multiple multifamily complexes they've done some down in Rochester, they've done some around South Dakota, they've done others in Minnesota, I believe in Iowa and whatnot. But their letter of intent is that they are interested in just doing that northwestern kind of area of the Sandstone Ridge property to do 110 unit multifamily market rate structure. And again, just they'll be doing the soil testings or the soil borings and whatnot. And the intent is to acquire the land for $1, just again for that particular part of the property. And they would invest in replatting the property, rebuilding the roads, the city to city specs, and also dedicating green space for a park. So with that, we did bring it to the Sandstone Ridge Committee and had them review the letter, and they are supportive of that. So we're bringing it to you this evening to see if the council had any questions about it and if you would be willing to accept the letter of intent from Stencil Group 2 LLC to pursue the development of a 110-unit apartment complex on Sandstone Ridge.
Comments?
Well, I'm glad to see Stencil come forward. I'm on the Sandstone Committee, and it'll be nice. It'll be right on, for those that are familiar up there, that's right along the edge of 25 is where it'll be. So I'd say let's, accept the letter and move forward and see how it goes.
Okay, the first question, from the community will be market rate, right? Market rate apartments.
Yep, market rate apartments. And again, they most likely will be, they haven't asked for TIF yet. They most likely will be doing that. And again, this is city-owned property. It's not EDA property. But the TIF would have to come through the EDA. So again, they haven't asked for that yet, but if they do, that would come through the EDA. So market rate, if they were to do that, if they ask for a TIF, that would be that, most likely a 40-60.
Then there's a different guideline.
Yep, so then it would be that 40% of the units would be reserved for 60% of the median income, which is, and with the 2022 rates, that's now increased to over $50,000 for a single person. So that's low income, which that's not, low income isn't you don't think of $50,000 as low income, but that's what that rate is. So. But they, again, have the, granite countertops. It'll be studios, 1 bedrooms, and 2 bedrooms in this particular complex. It'll have the community room. It'll have a fitness center in the facility. These have detached garages. They don't have them on the first level or underground like the Keller Bartman project does. But again, the concept plan that was in your packet, that is just, this was, just something that they put together very quickly. So they'll modify that. This isn't the one that you may see or that the Planning Commission may see coming to them.
Any other questions?
But the one thing that I will note is that when you look at the way that this is laid out on Sandstone Ridge, that a majority of the property is parking lot. They really kind of have a long, narrow, kind of V-shaped building as opposed to, the whole area the building being spread across that whole particular parcel. So I thought it was a unique concept as to how they had that laid out.
Any questions? Well, hearing none. Would there be a motion to accept the letter of intent from Stencil Group to pursue a development?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bringold, second by Gesme. To accept the letter of intent from Stencil and pursue development of the 110-unit apartment complex. Any other discussion? All in favor? Oh, roll call. I'll never get that straight.
Bringold. Duncan.
Aye.
Gesme.
Aye.
Cronenberger.
Aye.
Lundell.
Aye.
And Montgomery.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Okay. Reports. Kyle.
Good evening, council members, staff, and community. I would first like to start out with congratulating the Fair Board, the Cannon Valley Fair Board, for a fantastic event. They had just gobs of people around. I mean, you know, I'm hearing food vendors sold out. And so they really had everything covered. And that was a very nice thing to have happen. They put a lot of time into planning that. And so, way to go. The Cannon Falls Open Air Fair is Thursday, July 14th. The Open Air Fair is when the vendors are on the sidewalks of downtown Cannon Falls. With the construction being done at the intersection of Main and 4th, we will be using 4th Street and Mill Street. If we get more vendors, of which we need many more vendors, then we can use Main Street if necessary. Right now, vendors are they're selling American flags, cleaning supplies, engraved items, dance lessons and demonstrations, health and wellness services, hand-printed signs, homemade jewelry, ladies' clothing and jewelry, lotions, soaps, and candles, the introduction of the new church in Cannon Falls called Bethel Rock, sportswear gifts and clothing, and wood crafts and signs. We are at 22 booths right now. We would love to get over 30, and we are still accepting applications or registration forms. So please contact the chamber, and I will send out the registration form and the ST19. There will be free hot dogs from Lawrence Meats, and they will be serving them out of the chamber office, and we will be doing door prizes. And so I'm hoping for a great event, lots of things for youth as well as parents, and so we just need more vendors. So please call the chamber. Of course, that's 507-263-2289. Any other questions?
Good hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They will be excellent hot dogs. Yeah, that's for sure. And the chamber office will smell very good for a couple of days. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Cal.
Okay, there was one meeting since the last council meeting. That was the Joint Powers Trail Board. Anything there?
Very exciting stuff. I don't know what you remember, Laura, but we talked, it was terribly thrilling. No, we talked about, had quite a discussion actually about power-assisted bikes. You know, it's kind of a gray area, and we decided to go with what the DNR recommends, and if you want to know what that is, call Scott at the trail office, because it's beyond what I can understand. There's also talk of putting, is it a new sidewalk in Red Wing? I don't know. It really doesn't affect us all that much, but it isn't really a trailhead, but a new sidewalk near the trail in Red Wing. So again, doesn't really affect Cannon Falls that much. So, do you remember anything else, Laura?
Yeah, just that Red Wing is putting in a sidewalk.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's talk of maybe putting in a trail that would link that sidewalk to the trail. So
all in Red Wing, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
By the McDonald's there in Red Wing.
Right. Okay.
And then regarding the electric bikes, there was quite a discussion regarding people being using them to assist them in being able to get out and be active, but it's really frowned upon to coast? Is that what they said, Mary Jo?
Yeah. They were basically leaning back and letting the bike do the work,
right,
or the motor do the work.
Using the electric bike to assist in someone getting exercise is great. They really don't want people riding them like motorcycles. So
that's kind of, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I might add that they put in a grant for a new trailhead sign down the city parking lot.
Yeah,
The kiosk down there.
yep.
That was to the Tim Penny's organization, Southern Minnesota
Smith,
Initiative.
Oh, good, good.
So that grant application is in, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
there.
good, okay.
That'd be nice to have a nice big sign down there, you
It
know,
would be.
Tokyo that way and whatever.
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay, let's go around the horn. Dan?
I just got one thing. There's been some question or discussion about the lawn restoral along the Highway 19 project, and what looks like hydro seed that they sprayed does not have seed in it. It's just basically a stabilizer. They're outside that. They're in a window right now where they're not putting seed down or they're not reseeding. So after July 21st, then they can come back and reseed. And they may be touching up or redoing the side of the street where they put this blanket material down. That didn't work out so well. So what I understand is they handed out some flyers today along the route. And I can't verify that, but that's what I'd heard with some of that information on there. So that's about it.
What's the time frame for the road from the stoplights going south to the roundabouts?
So from the stoplight going south with the county, first of all, they're going to do the sidewalk before they do the mill and overlay. So as far as the timeline, they haven't let us know exact dates yet. I think they're still struggling with that corner by the Park Street Apartments, so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah. Okay. Bill?
One item, Neil had just asked me to give an update on the Hannah's Bend Park. Guess we'll call it property transfer with the Fair Board. Excuse me. We are still waiting for a title opinion to come back. Excuse me. It has been delayed, partly because it was part of the original plat in the town and it was a handwritten title. So the title company is struggling a little bit with that. So when we get that back, so we're currently paused on that. When we get that back, we will finish the survey documents. Thank you.
Yep. Laura?
If you've been on the south end of town, they did start moving dirt down at the Cannonball lot, now the Keller Bartman lot. So they started that on Thursday afternoon. So they're just getting the bituminous up. They're just kind of moving some of that, getting that out of there. So it's moving.
Good to see some dirt moving out there, you know. It's been a long time. Jeff?
So the parade went very well, as did the fair. We were a little worried about the weather on the 4th, but it cleared up just in time. A few sprinkles when we were still started, but crowds were good. Everybody seemed in good spirits, and no bad incidents, so we're very happy.
Okay. Diane?
Next Monday, July 11th, we will have Planning Commission. There'll be 4 public hearings at that meeting. All 4 of them will be CUPs. The first one will involve a new cold storage unit. The second one will be a new warehouse storage facility. And the last 2 will both be regarding conducting work in the Bluff Protection District.
Sarah, anything? Laura, you got anything up there?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Derek?
I think I'm glad Laurel came to tell us a little bit about other cities having issues with their compost. On Thursday, Public Works, me, Mary Jill, and Cliff are going to attempt to tackle that issue. So it's nice to know we're not the only ones that are dealing with it. Maybe some of her suggestions can help us out.
Yeah.
Other than that, the 4th of July parade and fair seemed really good. So brings a lot of people to town. That's it.
Mary Jill?
I'm good.
Steve?
Nothing.
Matt?
Nothing.
Bill?
No, nothing.
Yeah, just it was a nice parade. Good crowds at the fair. I'm going to go through the meetings that will come up before our next council meeting. Next Monday, or this Thursday, EDA, we got EDA on Thursday. We got Public Works on Thursday. We got Park Board on Thursday. Next Monday, we got Finance and Planning and Library Board. So keep that in mind. A lot of meetings coming up, so. Okay, anything else? Anybody? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Duncan, a second by Montgomery to adjourn. All in favor?
Roll call.
We should do a roll call, just to make sure.
You don't really even have to vote on it.
Just make sure. Bringold,
Aye.
Duncan,
Aye.
Gesme,
Gesme?
Aye.
Cronenberger,
Aye.
Lindell,
Aye.
Montgomery.
Motion passes, adjourned.
Nobody can be.
Don, you almost made it.